Heard Paul George has a podcast now too.
I'd rather
Podcast
listen to
B.
Paul. I'd rather podcast B.
Well done.
I'd rather listen to Paul George than Chris Boucher, though.
This is true.
Yeah, yeah. Paul George is an interesting man.
Yeah, you don't like a podcast B?
No, I think he's just the fact that he like had a relationship with one of his not his coaches, but his like rival's coach's daughter.
What?
Didn't he have a thing with Doc Rivers' daughter?
No.
Yeah,
Was
I'm
it
pretty
him?
sure he did. Yeah.
No way.
I don't
Paul
remember.
George, Doc Rivers' daughter. Oh, Paul George repeatedly or reportedly cheated on Doc Rivers' daughter.
With
Yeah.
a stripper.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, this sounds very familiar.
And then Seth Curry is married to that daughter now.
That's what I was gonna say. I remember Seth Curry being involved with it, and I remember Paul George knocking up a stripper and having to pay her like $1 million per.
No, he just married her.
year.
He just
Did he?
married her.
yeah, now
oh.
he's married.
That's his
to her.
baby mama.
Yeah.
Ah.
Or I don't know if he's married to her, but he's like with her now.
No, he's married to her.
Oh, are they? Oh yeah, Paul
Yeah,
George's
for sure.
wife. Daniela Rajic.
Lecic, yeah, some Croatian girl.
Good for her.
Yeah, good for her, man. What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the Hoops Corner. I'm your host, Peter Tran, and on the line, the injured Iceman sitting in the doghouse. Man, Josh Cohen, how you feeling?
Feeling like Kevin Durant in the 2019 playoffs after his calf injury. Whether or not, I'm wondering whether or not to come back or should I wait a few weeks. So talk to the doctor, and doctor says I do not have a clean bill of health, and thus I'm probably going to sit out for a little while. It sucks.
Do we have Danny Green in
my.
the house? Wait, no, it wasn't Danny Green. That was Klay Thompson. My bad. That was my fault. Do we have Serge Ibaka in the house? More accurate, right? There you go.
I mean, the banger sort
The
of has
banger,
the body of Serge, right?
He might be. Well, he's obviously a lot younger than Serge. The banger in the paint, our residential medical expert, Rajan Walia. How you feeling?
You know what? I don't want to put any bad omens like Josh did on himself there, calling himself the Kevin Durant, right before he tore his Achilles. So, Josh, if I were you, I'd stay away from a ball, stay away from anything that involves moving if you say you're Kevin Durant in 2019.
I found this on the web.
That really hurts to hear.
Oh, what did you find on the web?
I don't know. I guess
What was that?
that's Siri there.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
listening into the podcast, man.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a trick question for you guys. Which Kevin Durant would you want to be? OKC Kevin Durant, Golden State, brief stint with Brooklyn Nets, or current Phoenix Suns Kevin Durant, 3-0? Which is the ideal Kevin Durant to be in, Raj?
I guess the Kevin Durant that was like the most tolerable was the OKC Kevin Durant. And he was still lighting up the league, putting up good numbers. They were a fun up and coming small market team, so I gotta go with the young Kevin Durant. But yeah,
I also agree. I would also take OKC Kevin Durant. And while I am OKC Kevin Durant, I would not have gone to Golden State. I would have stayed in OKC, and I would have built my legacy there and been like, Dame Lillard, but I actually would have won a championship because they were this close.
Oh. Wow, well, unsolicited shots at Dame Lillard. Oh, okay. I didn't expect that. What if you...
That wasn't a shot. I said I would have stayed just like Dame Lillard, but I would have had
But
more
you would have
success than
won,
that on
unlike
Kevin
Dame
Durant.
Lillard. Come on now. Would
Josh
you...
is-
I mean,
Josh's praises are also.
I don't blame
backhand.
Dame for that.
Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Would you have requested a trade for Dame Lillard? Maybe boot out Russell Westbrook for a Dame Lillard? Oh,
That might have been the move.
oh.
That would have been the move for sure. Imagine 2016, they had Dame, kept Serge, Kevin Durant, Nick Collison probably somehow still on the bench.
Kendrick Perkins before ESPN.
No, please
Kendrick
stop.
Perkins?
Stop.
Ugh. God, that guy is such a
Before,
joke.
before calling racism on everything, Kendrick Perkins?
Oh my God. This...
Okay, I don't want to get into Kendrick Perkins race baiting here.
No. I gotta ask one thing before we continue. How did he not get canceled after that?
He's just dumb, and he, again, like, people don't respect him. Like his basketball takes are not even remotely rooted in fact or even like logical emotions. Like, again, he's straight up delirious.
I mean, as the white guy on the podcast, I do want to point out what he said was racist.
Yeah, like it is, but it's also just like he's not only said racist stuff, like he's just consistently said stupid things about the sport of basketball and more particularly the NBA. And I think for every one thing that he says is right, I think probably like 65 things that are wrong. It's probably like an accurate, it's like his free throw percentage or his shooting percentage. Or like every 65 offensive plays, he makes one good one, I guess. Like that's what he's used to.
He's become the new Skip Bayless of ESPN.
Whoa.
Worse.
Whoa! I don't know about worse.
I don't know about that. That's not possible.
I would say it's worse.
I don't.
That's tough, man. Skip is pretty
Skip
bad.
is awful. But yeah, I don't know. Kendrick is something. He's something. Can we just go back to Kevin Durant? I mean, we haven't really talked about him since like the trade deadline, right? Maybe a week after, but he hadn't played yet. Came back ever since the All-Star break. 3-0 with the Phoenix Suns. Not bad. KD looking pretty good along the sides with Devin Booker and Chris Paul, who's playing slightly better than he was before. But that top four, man, in Phoenix is looking real good. And the best part of it all, guys, and I think we've talked about this a lot before, but Josh Okogie and Torrey Craig look like legitimate playoff contributors to this team. So if you have a closing lineup of Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Okogie, Durant, and then DeAndre Ayton, that's a legit ass finals contender, assuming everyone's healthy. Will they be healthy? Who knows? Because Chris Paul seems to always get hurt in the playoffs, or he flames out, flops his way out. But maybe he won't need to flop his way out with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant carrying him to the finals. You know what I mean, Josh? He might make it back and actually win something for once.
I mean, watching the last three games, I've pretty much watched the entirety of all three games so far, because it's been really interesting to see how they integrate Kevin Durant, and it's been seamless so far. They basically run the same sets as they did with the Nets and the Thunder and Golden State with him. Especially late in the games, they run a lot of like isolation plays or him coming off curls. And Chris Paul in the last three games, he sort of reminded me of Jason Kidd circa 2011 Dallas days, where he's just sort of running the offense, making sure that everything runs smoothly. And he's taking a lot more spot ups, which he's going to have to get used to. And, catching and going, which he basically never does. Catching the ball on the go and then making decisions off of, his guy playing off him, which over the course of his career just never happened because he was the guy with the ball in his hands and teams would just never leave him open. So it's something to adjust to. That's the biggest thing I'm looking at right now, just to see how like Chris Paul adjusts to that role. And, Kevin Durant in his three games so far is shooting like 80% from the field. He doesn't miss a mid-range shot, so he's basically Kevin Durant. And today's game was super exciting, obviously, and they've looked incredible so far with him in the fold.
Yeah, but again, the overlooking cloud on this whole team is, if you look at by position in those three positions, shooting guard, you want to call Kevin Durant a small forward and point guard, they have top 5 talent probably in all 5 of those positions, definitely top 10. But they also have the number 1 most injury-prone player probably in those positions in that group of top 10. Like, they have the most injury-prone point guard who's a top 10 point guard.
In the playoffs.
Yeah, again, they're going to make the playoffs. That's a foregone conclusion. Devin Booker's actually he's probably never played over 65 games in a very long time. And he's always had this questionable hamstring, and And when playoff intensity picks up and you're playing the extra 4 or 5 minutes a game and you're cutting a little harder and you're playing a little faster, not faster, but everything just has to be a bit more precise. I really question whether their longevity and their health is going to be probably the biggest limiting factor, because on paper, like Josh, you mentioned, not only do they have those top 4 guys, like they have enough depth. I also question whether their depth have played long enough together. Like they have some pieces in Okogie, they have Torrey Craig. Of course, one of them will end up starting, but they'll still have like players like Baisley, TJ Warren, Bismack Biyombo had some success with Chris Paul. Like, how are you going to get all those players to give you those extra 8 to 10 minutes, 12 minutes in the playoff? How is that going to work? Shamit as well. So I think the biggest thing for them is really to like, and it kind of works out well. They have another 15, 20 games. They just got to focus on staying healthy, not overplaying their starters, and actually getting their bench players to play minutes together.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of lineup flexibility, I think they have a lot of that. And I think in the playoffs especially, I think Okogie's going to be the guy that plays the most minutes out of the others besides their big 4. We haven't even mentioned Aiden yet, who has played really well in the last 3 games. Defensively, he's been really solid. He's rebounding the hell out of the ball, which is basically going to be his role. And he should be shooting like 70% from the field based on the shot types that he gets with those 3 guys running pick and roll with him now. So against a team like Dallas is making him take a lot of 3-point shots, especially with the guys that, as you mentioned, need to hit those shots. Like Okogie was 0 for 8 from the field, from the 3-point line anyway, today. But in previous games, he was shooting like 40% from 3. And he's really good defensively. Like Luka went, I think, like 9 for 25 or something like that today. So he's going to be the guy playing, I think, the majority of the minutes at that position. I think Torrey Craig will only play against like
bigger,
the bigger, stronger type player. Even like Okogie against Luka, like it wasn't that big of a mismatch. Like Luka got to the line a lot on a lot of BS calls today,
as usual.
But as usual, and he actually hit them, which is surprising. But Okogie just provides more flexibility in that lineup because he does more things. Like he's a great offensive rebounder, and his shot has come a long way. Like he was a terrible shooter in Minnesota, and I really doubted he was going to stick in the league even beyond this year, because early in the year he couldn't shoot at all, and then midway through the season he just started like shooting the hell out of the ball, and you're like, where the hell did this come from? Phoenix found something here. So not a lot of people are talking about him, but he's going to be the solidified 5th starter. And I think he's going to be possibly the difference maker between them going to the finals or not.
Yeah, and again, they match up really well against the other big contenders in the West. Obviously, I think Memphis is probably a bit on the downhill. We're going to talk about them, I'm sure. Ooh. Like, when you say you like shoot yourself in the foot, like I think... Ooh. Like Memphis has probably like nuked themselves in the foot. Like they just dropped a grenade and like sat on it.
Oh man, okay, hold on. You completely blew that one.
Why?
Yeah, John Morant is literally shooting his way there.
Yeah, he's got a gun. Like, come on, you can't say
hold
nuke.
on.
He's literally had a gun.
You can have a gun.
He's
just go flaunting. Don't go flaunting your gun. No, it's the States, man. Most of these guys have guns.
Yeah, whatever. All I'm gonna say is you get. Like, they've had probably not even the week from hell, the day from hell overall yesterday. And this team is likely just not, like, even with the trades that Phoenix made, with the developments in terms of the rest of the West, they were probably a team that was facing an uphill battle. And I really think they're not going to make it likely out of the second round. Definitely not. I think even the first round, they'll probably... might have a tough matchup, and I could see them going 7 games and possibly losing. Like, they're just not that strong of a team to overcome that much adversity, and then Phoenix matches up well against them. They match well up against Denver. I think the other issue is who's going to be the backup center behind Ayton if he gets into foul trouble against Jokic. That would be like the big question mark, because Bismack just doesn't have the size or smarts to play with Jokic or against Jokic. So yeah, like it will be like Phoenix is in the driver's seat, and just stay healthy.
I think their biggest issue, honestly, is seeding. Because right now they're scheduled to play Golden State in the first round in the 4-5 matchup. And that honestly is their worst matchup out of the Western Conference because, I think they matched up well even without Durant, before the trade with Denver because they just have Denver's number. Like the way that they run offense involving Jokic in every single play basically. And now you have Durant to be able to exploit that too. Like Denver does not want to see Phoenix in the playoffs, I don't think. Just like the Clippers don't want to see Denver. And, I think having Golden State in the first round against a team with that much continuity versus a team that has 20 games of continuity could end up, putting Phoenix out in the first round potentially.
Yeah.
Hey, Denver's 2-0 against Phoenix this year, guys. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but you got to look at who was playing in those games too. I watched one of those games, and I think a lot of the Phoenix players were missing, and they still almost beat Denver. And, you could talk to Denver's, like they've had, conferences with Denver's players, had interviews with them, and they all say the same thing, like Phoenix is our toughest matchup because Phoenix just knows how to run offense against them, which is easy because you just run it against one dude.
Yeah, I think also the foot speed that Denver has, that's their biggest issue. Like they have a few players that, not a few, like a lot of their starters are just, I don't want to say slow, but like they're just not as fast defensively.
Oh, you just mean Nikola Jokic.
No, Jamal Murray is not a fast and like a good defender. Like
I'm sorry,
in that
Chris
sense,
Paul
like
is
he
not
plays.
going to beat Jamal Murray in any type of race. Jamal running backwards is still faster than Chris Paul running forwards. Let's be real here.
Yeah, but
Chris Paul tries and Jamal Murray doesn't.
Does he?
Jamal Murray doesn't play any defense.
Yeah, he's bad.
Yeah, and I would also, again, like Michael Porter Jr. is not laterally quick. That's like they just have like players that one-on-one you just don't expect them to win those matchups consistently, especially against like elite players like Booker, players like Durant. Like they just can't match up just physically with some of those players defensively.
I mean, sure. I didn't know that we were going to consider Devin Booker like a top-notch defender or anything here, but
no,
okay,
not
sure.
defender. I'm saying on defense, they don't have the lateral foot speed or like speed on defense to guard some of these players.
You know what? I don't think it would be that much of an issue in the playoffs. Because when you really look at the matchups, it's going to be KCP is going to be covering Devin Booker, right? 2 guard on 2 guard.
like,
makes sense.
Or Bruce Brown.
Whatever, sure. Or Bruce Brown, whoever's on the floor. And then KD is going to have Aaron Gordon hounding him the whole time. They're not going to put Michael Porter Jr. on KD. Michael Porter Jr. is going to be on Okogie or Torrey Craig, whoever it is, right?
Yeah, but the problem is later in the game, once the game is on the line, they're going to bring up either Porter or Jokic or both.
Yeah.
And then you're in some trouble there.
It's just the lateral foot speed. Like they just it's not shaming them or anything. They're just Phoenix knows how to exploit that matchup, and one of the key exploitations they have is just like they're just a bit faster, and they can like hurt Denver because you can't really learn speed. You can't like coach speed, right? Some players just have it and some players don't, and unfortunately, a few of Denver's starters don't, and Phoenix knows how to exploit that.
I think it's more of a tactical thing. I think that, Phoenix knows how to put certain players into actions where they're just going to make the wrong decision or just be like a step late. And Porter has improved on that aspect. Like that's the biggest weakness that he has on defense, is just like recognizing what he needs to do in certain scenarios. So for example, if he's guarding, a ball screen against Portland and Dame Lillard has the ball, in previous years, he wouldn't step up to stop the 28-foot shot off the dribble, or the step-in shot off the dribble, right? He'd be like, okay, the regular action that we normally run, I'm not supposed to come all the way up. I'm going to stay back. But now he's starting to recognize, like, okay, it's Dame Lillard. I need to get up there. I need to, push him into help defense. He's starting to get these things now, which is why, like, this has to be Denver's year, to actually win the championship, because all things are going right for them this year. Porter's been better on defense. They're healthy. So this is the year that if they're going to do it, they have to do it now because, next year you're looking at a situation where like a guy like Bruce Brown is going to get paid, hopefully by Denver. But if not, then you're losing him for nothing because you have no cap space. And he's going to be a very important piece, sort of like a Kogi for Phoenix.
Or like Crowder.
In that if they're going to go to the championship, then... He's not even going to play when it matters.
I just had to slide that in there, huh?
I know. I just had to see his face change. It's like letting someone eat cake and then like throwing in some spinach right there.
Yeah, that's not ideal. Do you guys consider Phoenix like the favorite in the West right now, then? It sounds like you're both on board with this.
Yeah. But, like, again, injuries. And injuries, I think, just based off of, like, what's happened in previous years with the players they have, the age, there is a 1 in 4 chance. I would even go 1 in 3. That one of their big three will be injured and miss at least 5 games in the playoffs, which is a lot.
That is a lot. Hopefully earlier round, so we get like good matchups. But damn, that's a lot. If this
1 in 3 chance
comes true, yeah,
that's what I think. Like based off of the players.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the biggest thing though is like they can withstand. I think Chris Paul getting injured, DeAndre Ayton getting injured, even maybe Devin Booker. But if Kevin Durant gets injured, then they're totally screwed.
Correct.
But I think as long as it's not KD, depending on the matchup, they would be okay for at least a couple games, depending on what the injury is, obviously. But if it's for a series, then yeah, I mean, if they're going against like Denver, for example, then they're probably going to lose no matter what the injury is. But against other teams, and Golden State, but against other teams, it may not hurt as much.
They don't even need Booker, man. They got Terrence Ross on the roster now.
Oh my god.
Raptors
Man, that guy
scored 50 with the Raptors, Terrence Ross.
And he got hunted like crazy in the first half to where they didn't even play him in the second half, I don't think, today.
But that's besides the point.
Hey, he's made a good career for himself, though, considering he was like drafted in like, what, 2009, 10?
Maybe 10, 11, somewhere around there. Former slam
good
dunk
career.
champion, Terrence Ross. Good for him, man.
Good career, yeah.
Savvy veteran. I'm obviously still going to pick Denver to come out of the West because, homerism and all. And apparently a back-to-back-to-back upcoming MVP here means a little something.
And I picked Denver at the start of the year to win the championship, so... I mean, I might as well just keep that.
You also picked Minnesota to win the West.
I picked Minnesota to be regular season champions, but...
Yo, Minnesota's 6th right now. Above 500 record. They're coming. They're coming for a playoff spot, maybe, if Cat doesn't come back.
Hey, if they keep that 6th spot, I might take them in a series over Sacramento.
Crazy. You are absolutely out your damn mind if you take them over Sacramento.
Hey, scoreboard yesterday.
Yeah, do you know how many minutes Sacramento has played in the last week? Come on, man.
Minnesota's been on a long trip. They just went 3-0 on their West Coast trip.
2 long-ass games against the LA Clippers of Paul George. Podcast P, as one of our guys has called him, and Kawhi Leonard. Come on now. The Sacramento Kings are here to stay.
The Beamers should not be tired.
The Beam team slows down from time to time, Josh. Everybody slows down. Ask Rudy Gobert.
Hey, he's been good since Conley came over, though.
Of course. Surprise, surprise, he needs a real point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about a real point guard, we gotta address this Ja Morant situation, right? Oh man, in this past week we've heard about him, a story about him last summer beating up a kid in Memphis and then flashing his pistol at him afterwards. Obviously we remember the story with the Indiana Pacers and one of his boys pointing at, a laser at the team bus. Who knows, it could have been a gun or not. It could have just been one of those stupid laser beam things.
Who holds a gun like this?
So true.
I have so many questions about his IG live, like showing his strap. One, why are you at a strip club and your shirt's off? Is that a thing? 2, who does hold a gun like this? I mean, Raj, you're just not with it. You're just not a gang member. You know?
What is this? Like, do you not know? Like, oh my god. Like, it's like he's disposing evidence or something.
And it was such a small gun, too. Like, why are you showing that off? Like, if you have, like, Bond's gold gun, then sure, right? But the gun that he had wasn't even impressive.
No, the gun that he had was like, you remember at the end of Rush Hour when Chris Tucker falls and then he pulls the strap out of his boot and shoots Juntao in the... Yeah. It was like that. It was like that the little anklet gun. I don't know anything about guns, but my whole point is, what the hell? John Morant, get your head together. Get your head in the game, you know? What is this? We throwing away money now from potential sponsors because you want to flex with your homies? Is that a thing? Come on, man.
I mean, I did a little bit of research on this in that, you know, celebrities, they have their crew, obviously, and they get smaller and smaller as they get more and more successful, obviously, because... You know, you don't want to keep around people that are going to be a bad influence or cause you issues. But John Morant's the one causing his own issues here. And usually in the small group that you have with you, there's always one designated person that is likely strapped, is the guy that takes care of things in case things get out of hand. It's not the celebrity. So, and apparently John Morant grew up, like, pretty well off. Like, his family did pretty well. I think he lived in like an upper middle class neighborhood, so he's
he's from the suburbs.
Yeah, like
he's from the burbs.
Why is he trying to go? Why is he trying to go from NBA player to thug? Like you're making millions of dollars, like multi-millions of dollars. Like he might be a billionaire by the time his career's over, if everything went right. Obviously,
his career might be over a lot sooner than we thought.
I mean,
yeah, like, his life might be over. Like the things he's doing are not beyond like. They're not even dumb, like, for obviously really dumb for an NBA player, but just like as a human. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why are you waving a gun around in the strip club, like, flexing? Like, you piss off the wrong person, right? Like, they know you're strapped. Like, what do you think they're gonna do? Like, pop out a fucking butter knife? Like, no, they're gonna hit you back with the same fucking energy, right? And, like, it doesn't even have to be him. Like, he could be minding his own business and one of his fucking... stupid members of his crew just fucks off and pisses off the wrong person, and like next thing you know he gets caught and something happens, right? God forbid. But like you're just like this is just like inexcusably bad. Like there's like, okay, like I thought I was in the privacy of my own home, someone captured me, or I was out with friends and I said the wrong thing to the wrong crowd. Like that's bad. This guy full on thought it was a good idea to do this. Like, what is he doing? You know what I mean? Like, you know what this means? He's holding on to his career by a thread. Right? Like, oh my God. Like, unbelievable. And like, shame on his, like, again, I don't want to speak to, like, necessarily every adult, but, like, shame on other people that are involved in his life, like his manager, his people he looks up to, for like letting him get to this level. Like, if he's that much of a detriment to himself, like you gotta make sure that he doesn't have access to his phone, that he doesn't carry a weapon, that he stops spending time with like these people. It's just unacceptable. Like, he's gonna lose a lot of money. He's gonna lose a lot of respect from people, and people are gonna look at him like you're dumb. Like, there's nothing cool about this. Like, you're just dumb.
Yeah, I think the only good thing that's come of this is that Ja Wick was trending on Twitter for a full day, which is hilarious. And all the memes involved with that. Oh, man.
So Ja Wick is good. That's great.
That is good.
What a time, man. Yeah, whatever. We all understand the potential consequences of John Morant's activity here. He's been suspended for at least two games by the Memphis Grizzlies. I assume they're going to bring him back shortly after that. Maybe 3 or 4 tops. I don't think they're going to keep him out very much longer. But on top of everything else, Dillon Brooks received his 16th technical this year, thereby suspending him for 1 game. So
that's like the good thing that happened to Memphis that day.
True. They're going to win tonight.
They really might. But more importantly, Brandon Clark tore his Achilles. And not great considering Steven Adams is already hurt, so their front court is thin with just Xavier Tillman and Jaren Jackson Jr. Of their regular rotation in the lineup now. Rough. I assume Steven Adams will be back for the playoffs, so I mean, hopefully they should be back and like strong, healthy-ish.
Yeah, but Brandon Clark really allowed them to play a different lineup because obviously Tillman and Steven Adams don't have the same explosiveness. They don't, again, they're not able to guard the same matchups. I think Memphis really lost a complete dimension with Brandon Clark going. And like, I think the casual NBA fan, the non-Canadian fans probably look at Brandon Clark as like, oh, like a nice player. But again, he's in a situation where he has a specific role. He does it pretty well. And I think like there's certain matchups now if Memphis gets into, like, I don't think they match up at all well because of this injury. Like the teams I'm thinking of, like right off the bat, of course, I would say that with Phoenix, I think they'll be okay. But teams like Golden State, like that matchup is not ideal for them now without Brandon Clark.
And I mean, Brandon Clark, you could look at it this way that, you know, he sort of won them the series last year when they played against Minnesota because he was an absolute monster on the glass and he made a ton of big plays in fourth quarters when they made their comebacks because Minnesota was in control of a lot of those games that they just choked away. So yeah, losing him, as you mentioned, it kills one of their big dimensions, one of their better lineups with having him and Jaren Jackson Jr. together. But I will say that this year, Santi Aldama has played really well when he has received consistent minutes. He went from being, I thought he was like the worst player in the NBA last year. When I watched him play, he couldn't do anything. It was like, how did this guy get drafted? And then this year he started, and I'm like, what is Memphis doing? Like, are they tanking this year? And then his first game, he had a double-double, and I'm like, what just happened? But he's been really solid this year, and they're calling him, like, Big Spain or something like that now. Like, they're making reference to, like, the Gasol brothers in Memphis. So
come on, man.
Good for him for having a nickname.
Yeah,
I mean, for good enough to be having a nickname. That's a good thing.
Shouldn't be doing that in Memphis. Not when both Gasol brothers went through Memphis.
Yeah.
Come on, man. That's disrespect.
No,
call him like Junior Spain or something.
It was something like that. It wasn't Big Spain. It was something like in reference to that, though. But yeah, I mean, like now with the announcement that Coach Jenkins basically said that John Morant doesn't have a timetable for his return, that he's working on his life, I guess, basically. I mean, as a fan of the game, I really hope he's back sooner rather than later. Because, you know, you want to see Memphis at full health before the playoffs start. You want to see, like, a Memphis team that can actually compete. But this whole situation, and Dillon Brooks just being a fucking idiot, maybe pushes them in the right direction this offseason to where they make the changes that are necessary to actually build a true contender, right? Because they're sort of like in this gray area right now where they're not quite a contender, I don't think. They're like a quasi-contender. And they're probably like one or two moves away from being like a legitimate contender. Like they have the pieces there. They have their big three. They just have to figure out the rest. And they need to let Dillon Brooks go. Because watching them play, like, just to get away from John Morant for a second, watching them play and him shooting, I think he's like shooting like 39% from the field this year, just like every other year. But in the playoffs, he's so much worse. He just doesn't know that he's a role player. Like, nobody's told him this. And then you interview the players on the team after the game, and they're like, yeah, we believe in Dillon after he shoots like 3 for 14 in last year's playoffs. And they just did nothing about it. He still does the exact same thing this year. He still takes his stupid shots. He thinks he's a superstar player, taking like 15 shots a game when he should be taking 5. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, you have to say that he's your guy, though, if you're on his team. What are you going to do? Be like, nah, man, Dillon's got to stop shooting. We can't have that in the playoffs. Come on.
Dillon's chucking, you know, like he's overshooting.
I don't know. Just the way that they said it after the game, it's like they wanted to be taking these shots, and the guy shot like 2 for 19 in the game against Golden State. Like, come on, man. Get him off the team.
Yeah, he's just not winning basketball. Like, yeah, there's just something that hasn't clicked, and and I don't think it ever will for him. And it's not like his style of play. Again, he's not going to be that star player, but he can have a role in the NBA, like a specific one, probably a smaller role. And he could probably do it like an okay job. No, I believe he can have a small role on a team. Probably not a championship team, but it just hasn't clicked for him. Hey, you were wrong about Santi, right? So
I am not wrong about Dylan Brooks, though. His role is to be a chucker on a bad team. Like, he would be perfect in Detroit right now.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of players would do well in Detroit right now. like James Wiseman. Or Marvin Bagley.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Oh my god.
I still believe in Marvin Bagley.
I feel like if they like fused both those players together, they can get like maybe a half decent starter.
I mean, they'd get Marvin Bagley, but with like 3 extra inches. They're the exact same player. Let's be real here.
I think Detroit's idea is like if we take on like 5 flops, draft flops, maybe one of them will actually turn their career around on a bargain.
I mean, it's a smart idea while you're, rebuilding like they are, right? So why not take a shot?
Yeah, man. Shoot your shot. Trust the process.
Going back to Dylan Brooks, that's his motto. Why not take a shot? Also, how are you 26 years old in the NBA making as much money as he does and still have as much acne as he does?
Come on, man. Let the man be.
He doesn't shower.
Let the man be.
Doesn't shower.
Adult acne is a thing. Come on now.
It is, but
I'm not throwing shade on that. Like, come on.
Oh, come
man.
on. There's got to be some skin doctors in like Germany that can help him. Come on.
And I also think the other issue for me is just like, dude thinks he should be shooting the ball more than Desmond Bane.
Okay.
Is that his fault or is it Desmond Bane's fault?
No, it's not Desmond Bane's fault.
It's the coach's fault, first of all. But second of all, Dylan Brooks is fat too. Like, nobody's ever even brought this up. Like, he's fat. Like, that's why he's able to guard some of these dudes. Like, nobody can go by him because he's like 240 pounds. He's like 6'5".
No, he's not fat. Okay,
he's fat.
Did you see the picture of him
He's got
trying
a
to
double
walk in
chin.
like Stone Cold? He's not fat.
He is fat.
He has a double chin.
I saw him wearing that wife beater. Like, he's got a stomach, man.
He does not have a stomach. Okay,
He does.
he's not Kendrick Perkins.
For an NBA player, he's got a
Josh
stomach for
Cohen
sure.
Podcast, fat shaming.
Fat and acne shaming. Hosted by Josh Cohen.
God.
Jesus Christ,
Josh is
man.
trying to look for like the most aesthetically pleasing players. He doesn't care about how they play.
I'm gonna get canceled after this podcast.
I love Serge Ibaka. Oh man. Okay. Top 6 in the Western Conference right now. We're looking at Denver, Memphis, Sacramento, Phoenix, Golden State, and Minnesota. Dallas and LA Clippers are 7 and 8. Which of those last 4 teams that I named, so Golden State, Minnesota, Dallas, and LA, which of those 4 do you guys see in the last 2 secured playoff positions?
Golden State and the Clippers.
Okay. Josh?
I don't agree. I think Golden State's going to make it in the 5th spot. 6th spot, it's a tough one. I mean, Cat's going to be coming back soon, so I think that has to factor into things. That Minnesota's going to...
That's going to shoot themselves.
For them to go to 9th?
Yeah.
No,
like, they're going to get worse with Cat. For
Cat
sure.
hasn't played how many games has Cat played this year? Like 20?
I don't know. I think that they might integrate him pretty well in this lineup just because, like, Conley is a good point guard who knows how to run an offense. But at the same time, they have a really tough schedule. So I think I'm going to go with Dallas in the 6th seed. And then, honestly, I could see the Clippers missing the playoffs. I would not be surprised at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they've lost 5 straight. Obviously, they lost those 2 against Sacramento, which really plummeted them too, right? Especially considering they're trying to chase Sacramento in their own division race. But not great, Bob. Not great. And Russell Westbrook, I'm going to go ahead and say it. He's not as bad as he was with the Lakers.
No,
I think he's providing I think he's providing a lot of energy that this team needed, because these guys look like they're sleepwalking the whole way through a game. And Russell Westbrook hilariously Mason Plumlee are the only 2 people who actually run on this team. I'm just saying. Putting it out there.
Yeah, but the problem with the Clippers, though, is they just have to pick a pathway, right? Like, you either have to start Russ and then start Batum with them so you actually have the middle open. You can't play two non-shooters in today's NBA, right? Like, you can't have
100%.
Russ with Zubac or with Plumlee. You got to make a decision, either start Terrence Mann with Zubac, which is what they should be doing, or start Westbrook with Batum, and then have Zubac come off the bench.
Zoo's going to start. Zoo's too good to not start on this team.
Then Russ should be coming off the bench. Like, Russ should be the change of pace point guard that comes in, and if he's doing
But
well,
who are
you play
start?
him.
Who are you going to start? Eric Gordon?
No, Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann?
They were playing really well,
Terrence
Terrence
Mann's
Mann,
not playing.
before he got demoted.
They did, but he's not like I don't think he wants to be a point guard. They're not comfortable with him being their point guard because he's not a guard.
I mean,
Dude, he doesn't know how to pass the ball. It's like making Desmond Bain your point guard or Jaylen Brown. Like, these guys aren't point guards.
you don't need the point guard to be handling the ball that much when you have Paul George and Kawhi in the playoffs, right? Like, you just need the guy to play really good defense and play within the team concept, which is perfect for Mann, and the exact opposite of what Westbrook does.
Hey, Westbrook tries, okay? Come on.
Yeah, he tries to sabotage the team.
Don't be rude, Josh. Come on, show some respect. Former MVP Russell Westbrook here.
Okay, so what is the better scenario? The Clippers playing a fully healthy New Orleans Pelicans team in the play-in and getting eliminated and thus missing the playoffs, making that trade a complete failure, or them getting in, getting like the 8th seed, playing Denver in the first round, and getting beat 4-0.
I mean, I'd rather make the playoffs if I'm them.
No. I'm saying for us looking at it from a fan perspective, what would we enjoy more?
I want to watch
them to play than. I want to watch them. Yeah. New Orleans again has been a bit of a flop, especially because of Zion not playing. Ingram was injured for a big part of the year.
Yeah, I'm good on New Orleans. I'm good. They had everybody fooled last year because they went like 8-0 or 9-0 or whatever their record was going into the play-in. And everyone was like, oh my god, the Clippers are amazing. Wait till they get Zion back. And Zion's never coming back healthy, so good luck with that. I'm out.
Well,
next pod, we're playing a game. More likely. Is Zion more likely to come back, or is Ja more likely to clean up his behavior? Like, is we're gonna play a game. That's a warm up. That's a tease. I'll come up with a few statements. What's more likely to happen?
or maybe who's more likely to come back this season?
Well, Ja's coming back this year.
Is he?
For sure.
They're not going to suspend Ja that long, okay? Come on.
It may not
Dude
be
has
their
a
choice.
new shoe coming out.
It may not be their choice. Like, Bobby Marks went on Twitter the other day and pointed out there's language in the CBA that if you're caught with a weapon outside of whatever city that you're in, there's something along those lines. Like, the league can suspend you for multiple games. So I think that's what's happening right now is, like, maybe they're just doing this quietly, but beyond the 2 games that the Grizzlies already gave him, like, the NBA hasn't done anything yet, right? So maybe that's the no timetable for his return comment that he made today, is that the NBA's like behind the scenes telling them, like, you need to sit this guy out for X amount of games.
He's coming back.
He's coming back before Zion.
He was an all-star starter.
I
Brand
hope so.
new shoe, Powerade, like, lead spokesperson.
I know. Powerade literally is like, fuck this guy, cut him out right now. Like, what an idiot! Like, let's just end the pod.
Yo, clip that.
You know,
that was hilarious.
you know, in Wedding Crashers, when Owen Wilson goes to visit Will Ferrell, and Will Ferrell goes to like pick up some.
Yeah,
chick at the
exactly. That's
funeral?
exactly what I was thinking of.
What an idiot!
What an idiot!
That was perfect.
I'm done. I'm over.
Oh man, that was great. Josh, do you have any stats corner?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. One moment, please. Also, this series I want to see. I want to see the Knicks play the Celtics. Because the Knicks seem to own them.
Oh, I would love that.
That would be fun.
The Knicks
especially with Brunson.
Dude, they're beating them
the Knicks
right now
are
without
something.
Brunson.
Are they? They're up.
They're up 8 points.
Jesus.
No, 3 points. 3
5.
points.
3. Yeah.
3.
Well, that was quick.
Wow. Oh, and they're in Boston. Wow. Hurry up, Josh. I want to go watch this game.
All right. So we have 66 players that use 15 plus half-court possessions per game. So 66 players that use at least 15 half-court possessions a game. Can you name the most efficient players in the half court with at least 15 plus touches per game?
Kevin Durant.
No.
Get out of here.
You must have not
What's the
qualified.
minimum touches?
Mid-rangers?
How many touches? Sorry.
15 plus half court possessions a game. It doesn't say what the qualifying number of games is, though, so maybe that's
Okay,
why.
Jokic.
Yes, number 3 at 1.16 half court points per possession.
I'm still confused as to how Kevin Durant is not on this list.
Sorry, Durant is on the list. He's number 4 at 1.15. I was
Oh
looking at a
my
different list
God.
to start. Sorry.
Oh, this
I thought he
guy.
didn't qualify for a second because he didn't play enough. So sorry about
Come on, man. I assume Luka's got to be on this list.
that. Surprisingly,
And
no.
never let score the
No.
ball.
He's not that efficient. He's high volume.
True. Man, Luka.
What about
Harden.
Sabonis?
No.
No Sabonis, huh?
Number 1 should
is
be easy.
DeMar's... What?
Number 1 should be easy.
I just said DeMar. It's
No.
probably not.
No. LeBron James?
Nope.
Wait, what is it? Can you repeat what this stat is?
66 players use 15 plus half court possessions per game. Who is the most efficient?
So, like, who helps run the offense, like, half-court offense?
Who are the
And
most
who's
efficient half court players in the NBA?
And this one should be obvious?
Yeah, I think so.
You got to
I
think
mean,
about guys
I
who
still
shoot the ball
thought-
really well. Especially behind the
High
three-point line.
percentage.
Behind?
Steph.
There you go. Steph, 1.17. He's number 1. And then you got 2 left. You got number 2 and number 5.
I'll go here again. Dame.
Number 5, 1.15. And the other guy
Wrap it up,
is
Peter.
in the Western Conference play-in race.
Play
You
it.
might as well just...
Let me see the standings. Yeah.
I know this one.
Kill it. Kill
Is
it.
it Ant?
Nope.
Damn it.
It's not Kyrie, is it?
Nope.
Ingram?
Nope.
Whoa.
Kawhi.
Would you like another
Has he
hint?
played enough? Has Kawhi played enough?
I don't know. He's not on the list.
No.
Oh my god. Is it Laurie Markkinen?
There you go. Lauri Markkanen, number 2. 1.17 points per possession.
That finish efficiency.
Wow. Laurie
Nokia.
Bird. Thank you
Truly
very
a
much.
finisher. Now, can you name the least efficient half-court players in the NBA?
Where's...
Oh. Okay. Dylan Brooks.
Yeah, I was going to say, we've been talking about him so much.
Nope, not on the list, surprisingly.
Russell Westbrook.
Number 1, 0.82 points per possession. Not a good
Yo,
omen
but he
for the
hustles, man.
playoffs.
It's cool. He hustles.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Fred Van Vliet.
Probably a good guess, but no.
He's not efficient.
So,
No, he's not.
I think, yeah, all these guys are from lottery teams, like, you know, whatever you want to call it for Wembanyama. Tank for
Jalen
Wembanyama.
Green.
Jalen Green, 0.90 points per possession, number 5.
Kevin Porter Jr.
Yep, number 3, 0.89. That's a great backcourt right there.
LaMelo.
LaMelo's number
Did he play
6,
Yeah.
0.905. His teammate is number 4,
Scary?
Terry Rozier.
0.89. A very, very disappointing year after a very strong year the year before. And
They lost their best scorer, man.
and lastly,
Speaking of
one of
gun
the
charges.
best rookies this year. Maybe the best.
Paolo?
Paolo.
0.89.
But hey, he's been shooting. But he's been shooting shit since, like, pretty much the new year from behind the line.
The problem with his stat, though, is it obviously factors in threes, obviously. So, I mean, he's somewhat efficient overall in terms of his 2-point shooting, but his 3-point shooting is just shooting like 20% or something like that.
Chucker's going Chuck, man.
Yeah, he's gonna be a nice player though.
Yeah. All right. Well, nice Western Conference recap here, guys.
I
You got
have
something
one
else?
more quick
Jesus.
stat for you.
All right. Let's crush it.
Just quickly. the whole topic about, we started, before the podcast talking about Kendrick Perkins and Jokic and all that kind of stuff. So Jokic, in terms of when he's on the court versus off the court, let's just see if you guys can guess how players do in terms of their difference in on-court, off-court, with Jokic on versus off in terms of their true shooting percentage. So, let's start with Bruce Brown. In terms of true shooting percentage, the overall efficiency of how you shoot from the field, factoring in everything, what number do you think he is overall with Jokic on versus off? So if I told you with Jokic on the court, his true shooting percentage is 66, what would you think his true shooting percentage is
43.
with Jokic off?
Oh, I see.
43.
Yeah, I'd say around 40.
49, so a difference of 16%.
Wow. Okay.
Next is Michael Porter Jr. What do you think the difference is?
Probably 13%.
20.
12.4.
Really overvaluing Nikola Jokic here.
Yeah.
And just quickly, Christian Brown. Brown.
What can Brown do for you?
The difference being probably 19%.
8.
12.
Oh, wow.
And then
You
I'm
got
not going
those
to put in
for
Zeke Naji, so we'll go with Aaron Gordon.
Ooh, Aaron Gordon. Almost all-star
15.
year this year. 15. I'll go with 11.5.
Surprisingly, only 7.
Wow. Aaron Gordon creates his own shot.
Should have been an all-star, man.
And lastly, Jamal Murray.
Oh, like 38. I'm kidding, obviously. It's a little much.
Divide that by 2.
16.
16.
Yeah, I'll go with I'm going to hover around 10. Jamal's been good.
He's basically the only player that's not affected at 0.9%. 0.9.
Wow.
So he's not affected
does
at all.
things, man. Jamal does things. Jamal, Team Canada leader here. That's all some shit.
Oh, my God.
One more. Vlatko Chanchar, plus 1.9. Needs more minutes.
Damn. He don't need Jokic.
Oh, yes, he do.
Jokic is stopping him, though.
I don't know. Sure. If we want to go in that direction, sure. Nikola Jokic a hindrance to his team. What a ball hog.
Indeed.
Stat pattern Nikola Jokic.
Yep.
Let's get him off the team. I knew it. Good stuff, Josh. I always love Denver praise, so the more you give me, the more I'm going to praise your segments here. And on that note, let's call it. I want to thank everyone for listening. Please remember to rate and subscribe. Raj, you're on that iTunes app. I know it. Josh, you're probably listening on Spotify. You seem like a Spotify kind of guy. You can find us on Instagram and Twitter at Hoops Corner Pod. And until next time, peace.